Thanks so much for Hey! Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's WanderLust Wednesday.
WanderLust Wednesday.
So today we're going to be talking about
backwards backpacking.
our way to travel.
We want to share with you our stories, hilarious incidents, times that we have traveled together, and
maybe some tips and tricks of how to avoid what we did.
Yeah.
Today we have a tale between two cities.
Get ready. Put your seatbelt on because it's a long one.
But they don't have seatbelts there. So
we started in Malaysia. So we were in Malaysia for about 10 days, but we finished our time there in Kuala Lumpur, which is the capital of Malaysia. Had a fun time, you know, had
really multicultural city,
great
lots
food.
going on. Yeah, some good
beer.
street food, some good stuff to eat.
Yeah, but we were ready to leave by the end. We had our fun and we were ready to check out Singapore. We heard some great things. So we decided to do a bus journey because you can get from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore in apparently 8 hours.
No. Google said 5 hours.
Google said 5 hours.
It just took 12.
It took 12.
So, you know.
We're like, maybe it'll be 8. Okay, well, like, you know, ballpark. We have to go through the border.
Yeah. The thing we learned in Malaysia is a lot of the bus system moves, we called it, were on Malaysia time. So everything was a bit slower and things didn't necessarily come when you were expecting. And that was kind of everything that went in Asia. Is buses never always ran on time. So fun thing to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Give yourself lots of time to travel places. Because it takes about double what Google says.
So to start off the story, we headed to the bus station at around like 10:30 in the morning. Had our backpacks. It was really hot at the time. It was hot every day. So we're waiting for the bus. It was supposed to arrive at 11 a.m.
So we waited. And then we waited, and it showed up about 12 or 12:30.
Yeah.
Around there. So we were all ready, like, you know, a little late, but we were okay with that. We just wanted to get on the bus. We got on. We got the best seats on the whole bus.
Very front, had a great view.
Yeah, double decker.
Awesome.
It was great. We had the air conditioning. We were like, this is amazing. So we're on our journey. We were journaling, like having some good laughs.
Yeah.
And we pull into this big car park, and he was like, oh, you have to switch buses. And we were like, okay, cool. It happens. So we thought we were so smart, and we're like, run and get the same spot at the front of the bus. That had no air conditioning.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. So like at this point it's about noon. So from the time we show up to the bus station to this time, it's like 2 hours later. The bus starts up, we change buses, we're good to go. We're like, Singapore, here we come. We drive back to the original bus station that we started at.
So basically just did a 2-hour circle for some reason after we'd already waited an hour in a bus with no air conditioning in the front where the windows are shining sun on you. So at this point I actually have beads of sweat rolling down my face.
Like she's actually
I don't
dying.
handle heat. So the bus started going and it never stopped for 5 hours. To the point where we were like,
we had not eaten.
We don't know. We hadn't eaten. We were not prepared for this bus. So we hadn't peed. We hadn't eaten. We were starting to get a little nervous. There was sweat everywhere.
Finally 6 hours later, we stopped. But we're still in Malaysia. We haven't even hit the border
We
yet.
hadn't hit Singapore yet. But I remember we got off and we both ate 2 like ice cream sickles or like a fudge sickle ice cream bars because we didn't care, like we didn't want anything, we just felt like cold and food, and we were like, and we just ate like 2 each, and we were like, we don't care, we're just chilling.
Then we get back on the bus, and about 45 minutes after that we end up at the border. Now
no, that didn't happen first. First we went to another parking lot where he was like, okay, we're done, and we were like, we're going to Singapore, I don't think this is Singapore. And he was just kind of like, I don't care. And luckily there was a woman on the bus who was also going to Singapore, who's from Singapore. And she said, come with me, I'll get us on a bus.
And the parkour rollerblader.
Of course. So then that's where we meet.
Hippie man.
I don't remember his name. He was from Chicago and he was a parkour rollerblader.
Traveled the world doing
rollerblading. We got on the bus with him and our Singapore angel, and he gave us a spicy pineapple candy, which I was pretty sure was laced with drugs, but at this point I didn't care.
It was like,
so we ate them.
Yeah, we did.
And then we ended up at the Singapore border.
You probably know Singapore is like this very secure land. They have a lot of rules. So to get in, it's pretty high security.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of going through an airport. So we did that.
But then we had to go through 2 separate borders. Like we went through the one, got back on the bus, drove to another one, went up, and it was like all futuristic looking. Then went through another round of security, and this is where it gets interesting.
So we come out of security and we walk out and we're like, where's our bus?
Waiting, we're like finally in Singapore, like let's go.
Well, must be coming soon.
Yeah.
And this cute little woman who was not on our bus, had nothing to do with us, looked at us and went, are you looking for the orange bus? And we said, yes, we were on an orange bus. And she said, oh yeah, that just left. So
we were stuck in Singapore
at
the
the
border.
Singapore border.
Me, Lindsay, the parkour rollerblader. So we were in this new country. We had no currency.
Money.
Yeah, no currency. We had not eaten. We had huge backpacks, and we were sweating. At this point, we could just laugh. We just laughed.
Oh, we actually laughed because we were like, what do you do?
Yeah.
And you laugh.
And then this is funny. So Lindsay has a great habit of like just crossing the street right away, and I'm kind of a scaredy cat, and I'm always like, wait for the green light. So Lindsay and this parkour rollerblader, awesome dude.
We
were just like, we want food, and they just bolt across the street, and I'm like, oh, wait for me. Okay, I'll wait here. So then this like beautiful Canadian man comes up to me and goes, hey, are you from Canada? And I go, yes, I am from Canada. How did you guess? And I was like, I'm having a terrible day. And I just started like spewing out our life story. He's like, want to hang out? And I was like, yes, I do.
This sounds a lot more sketchier than it is. He was actually a very nice guy who was waiting for a bus to go to Malaysia,
really nice.
the opposite way.
Yeah.
Ended up chatting with him. He had just come from Bali, which is where we were going next.
Yeah.
We swapped yogurts and facts, and we actually spent the next 3 hours just chatting with these 2 random people we had just met, because that's the joy about travel. You can just immediately form a connection with some people, and they're like your immediate community, their immediate family. So yeah, we got some food.
Great food. Like
Great
our first
chat.
experience in Singapore, I mean, these incredible people. Even though we had been left, it turned out to be a really positive situation.
And we were just in a food court, and we were having the time of our
Yeah,
lives.
it was really great.
We were gonna go to the zoo that night, but we didn't need to.
So we have 2 Canadian girls, a guy from out west in Canada, and a man from America who's living in Australia, all hanging out different parts of the globe in one little cafeteria.
So then,
we're like, okay, it's getting late. We have to check into our hostel and figure out how to get into Singapore.
so we go back to the airport. Somehow, I don't know, this is probably really illegal. We like crossed back into Malaysia magically, like to the point where they were like, how are you here?
Yeah, what are you doing?
And we were like, oh, we're trying to get on a bus. And they were like, no. Took our passports, had to escort us back through security again, even though we're like, aren't we? Like, we were in limbo. We were in no man's land for a while. So eventually they take us out to the public buses. They were so kind. They physically put us on the bus, paid for the bus ticket, and were like, take them downtown.
Yeah.
So at this point, we love each other, but we were like, let's sit in opposite seats and just like chill out.
It's like 10 o'clock at night.
And this man comes and sits beside me, and I was like, I just really don't want to talk to anyone right now. I'm very tired. I probably smell horrible. And this man was just an angel. He was about 80 years old. He told me his name was Kenny, like the Kenny Rogers of Singapore. He gave me so many facts about Singapore, made sure I knew where I was going, and when we got off the bus, made sure to say his number out loud about 4 times, thinking I would retain 567204.
Yeah.
I didn't. Sorry, Kenny.
So we get off the bus. At this point, it's almost 11, I would say. Kenny Rogers says goodbye.
Oh, I
gives us his
forgot
number,
about this.
And then we have to find our hostel. Our hostel is supposed to be in Little India, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a 20-minute walk from the bus station. It's dark.
And our bags are heavy.
It's so heavy. We're so tired at this point. We've been up for so long. And we just couldn't find it.
We can't find it. So we said, who cares? We're getting a cab. We don't care what it costs. Tell the driver where we're going. And he kind of looks at us kind of funny. And I was just very much like, I really don't care. Please take me there. So we get in the car, and he drove around the corner. And that's where our hostel was. We were centimeters away. So we asked what we owed him, and he didn't charge us anything. I think he knew that we were just past exhausted.
So we get into our tiny little hostel that's okay, I guess.
There's about 9 people in the room, and all we want to do is sleep. And we're slowly drifting away.
Just laughing. No, I was just laughing. Like, I fell asleep laughing.
At what the day? It was actually one of my favorite days for our whole trip.
So
it was
funny.
just so ridiculous.
So, I mean, backwards backpacking, this is a prime example of it.
Yeah.
Lesson learned, go with the flow and just like don't get upset when things like that happen because it's out of your
Can't
control.
control it.
It's out of your
Which
control.
is kind of the beauty of travel.
Yeah.